So we are here to discuss. This is Amuna Yisrael, Solonomics, and we're in the news right now. It's been a minute, but this is the last call. These stores are closing locations in 2020. The other day I was passing by my mother, and she was watching the news as usual, and she was like, "What? JCPenney is closing?" And for those of us who know, JCPenney has been a staple in the community, kind of like Woolworth and Sears. And Sears is closing too. So we're going to look at a little bit of history of these places. But in your local mall, it says, has more and more begun resembling a post-apocalyptic ghost town. Now, this is a true story. Back in August, it's been a while since I went to Tampa, which I used to go to college in. And my friend who still lives there says you won't recognize the place, number one. And number two, you won't recognize the mall. Now, when we were in college, the mall was the place not only to be, but to work. She was right. More than half of the stores were closed in the mall. If you go all the way down to the back part of the mall, it's almost like a ghost town. And why do they say? Because online shopping is here and has taken over the traditional way, the traditional way in which goods and services are being exchanged. It says last year, amidst crashing retail sales nationwide, more than 5,800 American stores shut down. Now, that sounds like nothing. Amuna, why are you talking about this? We're talking about economy, okay? We're talking about capitalistic society where goods and services and the acquisition of said goods and services are of the highest value. Remember what we were talking about the other day? The value system, the object, okay? So if 5,800 American stores are closing, hundreds of thousands of people who were employed in these spaces are now without work. Let that sink in. We're going to continue a little bit here. Let's go down a little bit. So it goes into, so let me go. Last year I saw here where I am, I used to buy my children's Pampers at Toys R Us because they had the holistic Pampers. Toys R Us closed too. Base that Toys R Us was in, they closed. I'm not familiar with Lifeway Christian store, but apparently they're coming from the 1800s. One of America's largest supply of Christian literature and religious products for the better part of the last century. And they were rebranded Lifeway. It appears that they're having some things going on with them, and they declared bankruptcy abruptly and shut over 200 stores. Now let me just say this. When the big, huge corporations run out of money or their business goes downhill, they declare bankruptcy, right? When the small business owner, I know I got to get this in a little bit, is struggling with resources and funds and startup capital, it's called they're broke and such and such and such. Any size of business, whether it be big or small, needs capital. You need a customer base, and you need this thing to be flowing. Cash on hand and goods and services, all this stuff needs to be flowing in a reasonable way in order for you to make a profit. And when something such as Amazon, you see Amazon is all through this article, when a behemoth such as Amazon comes on the scene, they begin to crush the buildings. And this is what we're kind of seeing and experiencing. GNC, let me know below in the comments if you or a family member or friend are being affected by these abrupt closing of all of these brick and mortar stores. GNC, people are going online now, not only just Amazon, just different places to go online to buy the things that they need. So GNC announced that 900 stores will be closing before 2020. Dude, it's only 2 more months before we're in the year of 2020. Okay? It says here, let me just go back. Loyal customers probably know the brand from their prolific entrenchment in hundreds of American malls nationwide. And being that people are not going to the malls anymore, GNC would be suffering. This once genius strategy has since become a major liability for the company, with mall attendance plummeting in the digital age of online shopping. Oh, we have a misspelling here. Or online shipping, shipping or shopping, however you want to put it. Not only is it the online shopping that we have to look at, we have to look at how consumers are now socializing. Before, the mall was a place to consume goods, but it was also a place to socialize. And where social media has created a new society, a new culture of socially antisocial people, you would once go to these places to meet people, but in this day and time, you go to profile pics to meet people. You understand what I'm saying? So this has long-reaching effects. But what in the world does that have to do with us? A, some people may have lost their job because they work for these type of companies. And B, we understand that nothing lasts forever. Trends change, times change, people change. We have Gap here who's also experiencing it. Gap, Old Navy, and Banana Republic are all the same people, and they're saying as many as 232 2020. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And you can go on and read the article. We'll leave the link below. But let's take a look at Sears for a little bit. Back in the day when I was doing a bit of study and research, I realized that Sears is one of the oldest, who's coming from the 1800s, late 1800s. They recently filed for bankruptcy, but they started in 1886, and they were a watch company selling watches by mail order. That wasn't the only thing that they were selling by mail order. They used to sell a whole lot of stuff by mail order. They used to sell cough syrup with cocaine in it. They used to sell heroin before they knew how addictive these things were. So yes, Sears and Roebuck is coming from a long way here. Interesting history on Sears and Roebuck. Okay. It talks about Walmart. I want to talk about Walmart a little bit. They say that in the article that Walmart and Target are staying ahead or afloat. And one of the ways I see that happening is the other day I went to Walmart and they were like under construction. So I'm like, oh, what they doing? The next thing you know, I go back to Walmart a couple of weeks later, all checkout counters with ways with scans left is they extended self-checkout to the expanse of, they put all new machines. That means all them people that used to work or not really work, because sometimes Walmart be bugging, have lost their jobs. They're no longer on the cashier system. And so they're lessening the amount of physical labor. Isn't this like one of them sci-fi movies or something? They're lessening the amount of physical labor that they need and putting computers there. So now instead of 10 people to work the register, they have one person standing at the self-checkout. Tell me if you've seen this. One person standing at the self-checkout, making sure that everything goes well and you're not stealing the goods. And if you need a little help, they just run their badge and put in the code. This one was shocking to me. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up because you can see the rest of this. This is at investing.com. Payless shoe store. How many people needed Payless at one time or another in their life? And then over like the last 10, 15 years, Payless stepped up. You're like, wow, this is not Payless prices. Well, Payless, my dear, Payless. Every last one of them, 2,100 stores will be closing, they say. They filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2017, and they had 18,000 Payless employees that are now going to be out of a job. So again, American society was built on consumerism. You know I got to tie it in. The first stocks and bonds to be traded was in human flesh. It was built on consumerism, using low level quote labor to produce goods and services to get the highest dollar for them. And so they would get forced laborers from the continent, bring them over, force them to produce the cotton and the rice and the indigo, which went into making of the jeans and the fabric and the food and the dresses and the parasols. In the Caribbean, it was the sugar that made the rum that went to England. You know, in America, it was the bottles. It was a whole industry that was built on the backs of people who weren't compensated. And when that no longer worked, then you had to go to other countries to get people who were willing to work for less to be able to exploit them to have cheaper goods to come and bring and feed the market. And now we have a new kid on the block who has taken the jobs from the physical people in the physical location and put it on the line. And now a lot of people are losing their job. What are your thoughts about this? Am I off on my analysis? Did you know this was happening? Where do you think we're going from here? So we're much longer. I'll put the information in the box. This is Amuna Yisrael, CVS. Let's see. You can just go through it. It's a number of stores. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up.